Hi, everyone. It's me, Rudy Tinoco from the Magicians Forum. And I have this wonderful opportunity this morning to speak with Harry Lorayne about his new book, hot off the presses. It's called The Essential Harry Lorayne. It's a compilation of a lot of the great magic that he's come up with over the years. First of all, Harry, how are you doing today? Are you feeling okay?
Rudy, 97 years old. I can't believe I shudder every time I say it. So, aches and pains, my usual cliche that I have aches and pains of places I didn't know I had places.
Yeah, I'm sure. I can't imagine. I don't want to think I don't have to. I'm going to be this Monday is my birthday. I'm going to be turning 49.
Well, happy birthday. And
Thank you.
ought to be 49 and God,
I know, to me, it just sounds, I don't know, Harry, 49 is, God, life goes by so fast, but you're probably thinking, yeah, you kidding me? At 97, 49 is still just barely halfway there. So,
right. She's
oh gosh.
amazing, just amazing. People keep asking me, I keep getting calls, how you doing at your age? And my answer is always the same. I'm doing the best I can. What choice is there?
So, Harry, I think that most of your fans know that at the end of a book that you've written, your latest book, at the end, you'll say, yeah, this is probably the last one. And then all of us are going, I hope not. And then we're excited when actually there is another book. And so I really thought that we wouldn't get another Harry Lorayne book. Thought many of us probably thought, and you, I think, really, really felt when you said, and finally, it's like, and finally means I'm just freaking done now. And yet here we have another Harry Lorayne book, which I'm very excited about. So tell us a little bit about why another book? What's going on?
Well, first of all, it is definitely going to be what's the expression, last hurrah. It definitely will be the last thing. But even so, I didn't really write these. There are 30 items in here that people that I've performed all over the world for lay people and magicians, and the ones that I've been asked about the most, are in here. My Halo Aces, the Lorayne Poker Deal, Deal and Duck. Like I say, the ones I've been asked about the most, 30 items, plus a couple of bonus items in here. And it will definitely be my last book. What I started to say, I didn't actually write these. I put in some new ideas and a couple of bonuses, as I said. But basically, they're the ones that, as they were originally written, and that people have asked me about over the decades. And like I say, this has got to be my last book. Come on, I'm 97 years old. Give me a break.
But Harry, I've asked you this before, but really, there's not some effect, some trick that you've got that you've held back all your life that you're taking with you to the other side of this thing that we call life. I mean, is this really, you've shared with us everything that you've come up with?
Absolutely. Absolutely. All those that I kept a record of, and I knew of from the reactions I got over the many decades. That's how it took me. One of the things I say in the forward here is that I've had to make many decisions in my life, in all the years that I've been around. And one of the decisions was for this book, which items to include. We had decided to include 30 items, plus a few bonus ideas. And I knew basically mainly the ones that people asked me about over the years, because I did keep sort of records of those things, and they're in this book. I got to tell you, Rudy, I've been around obviously a long time, and I know most of the, I'm talking about 85 years that I've been deeply into card magic. So I know a little bit about what I'm talking about.
Sure.
It's interesting. Like I got a call the other day, just yesterday or the day before. Things are blending in my mind at my age, but I know it was pretty recent. And somebody said, like, somewhere that people were talking about Essential Harry Lorayne, and this person said to me, are there any good items using a memorized deck in it? So, this guy doesn't know who he's talking to, because I answered him that way. I said, do you know who you're talking to? I don't do memorize deck things. That's not my thing. And if that's what you're interested, I'm glad you asked me so I can mention it. People, if you're interested in mem decks, block decks, trick decks, don't buy my books. That's not what I teach. I want you to be able to borrow somebody's deck and blow his or her mind with it, with a borrowed deck. I don't care what condition it's in, etc. I want to borrow a deck. And like I say, that's where my term jaw droppers comes from. I want to cause jaws to drop with your deck, not mine.
Right. The reason why I think this book is really important is that some of us who've been your fans for years, some have been fans of yours longer than I've been alive. I mean, we're talking in the 60s, right? Have had the benefit of accumulating all of your books. My shelf, I believe I have every single book except the Essential Harry Lorayne, which I'll be getting soon. But we have the benefit of having your books on our shelves. There's some people who might be coming into magic. They're new. They're just being introduced to your magic. Well, they'd have to buy, 30 plus books to get all the.
That's right. Yeah, right.
So here they're going to have some of the best items you would come up with in one book, which I think is where the value is. Of course, those of us who've been your fans for a long time, we're going to get it, even though we have all your magic on ourselves, because it's Harry Lorayne. So we're just going to get it.
Also, it makes it easier to find some of the top items that are all in one book.
Sure.
So it kind of makes it a little easier for people, I guess.
Do you actually have a physical copy there with you?
Yes, I do.
Can you lift it up a little bit higher? Wow, Harry, that looks great.
Back.
Harry, I don't think I've seen those other three to the right.
When I was a good-looking guy.
So handsome.
I'll show you something else.
What the?
There's the picture. I don't know if you can see it.
Hey!
You recognize that guy?
That's awesome. Oh, Harry, that's great. I love it. Holy crap. So Harry, you've written something like 52 books. I believe not all of them are magic related, some of those memory, but by one person's count, 52 books. And there's a lot of great magic in those books. It must have been incredibly difficult for you to pick and choose what was and what wasn't going to be included in the Essential Harry Lorayne collection. I saw that there were some items that I would have thought would be in there, like your Pancake Revelation or What a Mess or Foursome. There's some really, really, really great tricks. But it must have been challenging to determine what would and what wouldn't be included. Can you tell us what is included in this particular book?
I don't even know if I can see it. If you like, I can read the table of contents to you, if that helps.
Sure, why not? Yeah, let's tell people what's in there.
Well, let's see if I can do it. My one good eye ain't that good anymore. Let's see. I need a little light. Oh boy, being my big mouth. I don't know if I can. You ready for this? Sure. After the forward. All right. Halo Aces, the Halo Card Deal and Duck Utility Mixer. God, I use that a lot. The Sting, Fantastic Ace Assembly, Numero Uno, Impromptu Out of This World, Take 5, Take a Royal 5, Guest Quotient, Amazing Plus, Take Me to Your Leader, Monty Plus Plus. Stop, a much better chance, blown further away, the equalizer, Startler, stabbed in the pack, one-eyed Jack Sandwich, greatest card handler, really, Magician versus Gambler, Lorraine's Poker Deal, 4 for 4, That's the Truth Plus. That's become one of my favorite items. And I saw you doing that somewhere on it.
Yeah.
That's the Truth Plus. Little Fella, Big Fella, Slider, Finder, the Card Shop, and the 4 Gamblers, and then a bunch of search savers, and that's it.
Yeah, that's it. That's a lot of items.
There are some, over the decades, I have received, I should have saved all this stuff. I have received emails from people mentioning one or two of my tricks, saying that gave them a career. Just reading the title Card Shop and the 4 Gamblers reminded me about that. That a lot of people say that this trick of yours started a career for me. And that happened most often with the Card Shop and the 4 Gamblers.
Mm-hmm. I thought it was a good idea for Bobby and Elizabeth and you to want to include a DVD with performances of many of these effects. I think that there's times where all of us as magicians have thumbed through the pages of a book and read an effect and thought, I don't know, that doesn't sound like something that would play for me or whatever. And then you see it performed by someone else and go, man, where'd you find that? And it was in a Harry Lorayne book that's on our shelf. You think, I think that there's certain effects that folks have maybe overlooked because they didn't see them performed. And so I think there is value in this. You have David Regal performing Stabbed in the Pack, which I've never actually seen done. I've worked on it before and I couldn't quite get it to work. And then I see him do it. It's like, wow.
Yeah, if I've got it right in my mind, there are 30 tricks in the book, 30 routines. 10 of them they found me doing, I guess from the best ever collection. So that's on that video.
Mm.
And then David Regal doing Stab in the Pack. And I think you're on it doing that's the again, I'm not sure, at my age, things are going in one part of my mind and out the other part, for God's sakes. But I think I told you this, I'm really very pleasantly surprised that most people, that's why they haven't received the book yet, because Bobby, my son Robert, is waiting for the DVDs. Of course, he ordered God knows how many, but they're not done yet. Maybe not today, they will be. I know they'll be ready in a day or two, the last time I spoke to him. And then he'll fill the orders, So he's not going to send just the book and then send the DVD later. He's waiting to get the DVDs. So most of the people that ordered haven't got them yet. And I know I've autographed, I think I mentioned this to you before, hundreds of copies, So I think they're selling a heck of a lot of them.
In the DVD that accompanies the book, you have some performances by folks like Paula Gordon. You have Steve Cohen, who performs your stop trick, and he performs it very well. That's really great to see. Jean-Jacques Sanver is performing, I think, Blown Further Away.
Blown Further Away.
Similar to something from Juan Tamariz, but yours is sort of this impromptu version. And right. So you get to see some of these performances, and then I'm on there too. I performed like Equalizer, That's the Truth Plus, and really great stuff of yours, Harry. You've given us a lot to work with, and stuff again that I think is very, very entertaining, and in some of them very easy to do. A trick like Really, it's self-working, and even as you perform,
just about, yeah,
you're going to fool the heck out of yourself even when you perform it. I remember the first time I ever read through that, and I'm performing it, and at the end you kind of like spread the cards, and you'll have the ending there. And I thought, there's no freaking way that can happen. And when I spread them,
you fooled yourself.
Yeah,
right?
I fooled myself. Right. So it's a really great little gem, and some of your magic is like that. A lot of it is, it's not knuckle busting, but you do and have stuff that might prove to be a little bit more challenging. Like again, a trick like What a Mess, which isn't in the book. I finally got it to a workable. I can do it now, and it's a very, 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 very challenging trick to do, but powerful. And that one is not so easy to do. So you've got a wide range of magic, from easy, almost self-working, to some stuff that's going to require some work and some real thinking on the part of the performers.
Yeah, part of my decision making was to pick a lot of items, not only that I thought, of course, I know from experience, like I told you before, I've done them all over the world, for both magicians and laymen, but I also wanted to pick some that were not that difficult to do. Not that I do difficult magic, Yeah. I mean, I think I once said that told you this on an interview that we did together, that I studied to do the diagonal palm shift. Yeah. And it took me some time to learn it. I never, ever used it. I don't do any difficult sleights. I don't do a card pass anymore. Originally, when I was doing the pass, I called it the top card cover pass, which people, if you're interested in the pass, look it up. I can't even tell you which books of mine it's in, but I know I taught it. It's called the top card cover pass because that's exactly what it is. You do a pass, but the top card stays in place, hiding what's happening, hiding the pass, Sure. So when I did the pass, that's the one I used.
Now, here's a question about the book and some of the handlings that are going to be in the write-up. The handling I was using was from Personal Collection, which uses a Pharaoh shuffle to get in position, where I think in the later write-ups, you eliminated the Pharaoh shuffle to make it easier for folks. Right. In this case, somebody's going to watch the DVD and go, wow, he got those into position really quickly. maybe using a Pharaoh, are you teaching in Essential Harry Lorayne your updated handlings, removing Pharaoh shuffles, or will these actually contain both handlings, one with the Pharaoh shuffle and one with your non?
No, I don't think there's any effect in the Essential Harry Lorayne using where you got to do a perfect Pharaoh shuffle.
Okay.
I don't think there's any of, I wanted to make it easier for
Mm.
people. I don't want to use it, like I told you before, the guy that called and said, are there any memorized deck tricks in there? Please, if you know who I am, you're going to know better, obviously. And I don't do those kind of things
Yeah.
at all. I want to do borrowed deck stuff and
Yeah.
cause jaws to drop. That was always my intent.
Yeah.
We may have talked about this on one of the interviews that we did some time ago, Rudy. When I was very young, I'm talking about in my teens, I would make up an excuse to go to the bathroom. I would say I got to wash my hands, to do some of the tricks I want to do for you, and I would casually take the deck with me, and I would memorize it. I would memorize the position of every card in this shuffle deck, and I had to do it quickly. I couldn't stay in the bathroom for an hour, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
I had to do it in the time that ordinarily people would expect you using the bathroom, to
Right.
wash your hands or whatever. And I'd come up with a memorized deck. And again, I think I may have mentioned these things to you. I started to do memorized deck, mem deck tricks. And what started to happen as time went on, I realized that I could do much stronger tricks with a shuffled deck than I could do with a memorized deck.
Mm.
That changed my thinking completely. What did I have to knock myself out? Memorizing a deck, when I could take a deck that's handed to me and knock them out with a trick immediately, where I don't have to memorize where every damn card in the deck is. You're right.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I pride myself on being able to take any deck of cards, shuffled, dog-eared, and do, what would seem to be to a layperson, miracles. And a lot of those gems that I perform are from your books. So yeah, absolutely.
Come on, look, Rudy, I know I've said this so many times. Do it with your own deck. And I don't care how strong the trick is, you have taken away 10 to 20% of the effectiveness of
Mhm.
that trick if you do it with your deck.
Yeah.
There's no question about that. People have argued with me and discussed it with me. No matter what, I've told you this. People have said to me, but when I'm finished, I'll give the deck to one of the people in the audience, and I'll tell them, I used to try to do that until one woman said to me, and I'll never forget this because it changed my thinking. And again, I know I'm being repetitive. I'm sure I've told you this. I finished. This is many decades ago, and I was using my own deck, and I handed to a lady to tell her, I want to make sure you realize it's a regular deck. She looked at the deck. She looked at me. I could still visualize her. I could still almost hear her. She sort of stuttered. She said, but I'm not a magician. I can't see the magic in the deck. That's the point. She still didn't believe that it was a regular deck. The only way you're going to make people believe that you're using a regular deck if you use their deck.
Yeah.
There's no other way.
Well, I can't say that I'm not bummed to think that this is your last book, but my gosh,
Oh, it's got to be, Rudy.
I know, but
It's got to be.
you've written so much, you've given us so much magic, and I think this Essential Harry Lorayne compilation of so many of your great effects is a wonderful period to the end of
I believe so. Like I said, it's my last hurrah, and I've done plenty of research. Like I said, I've been in card magic more than most people alive today. Come on, 85 years.
Yeah.
I started to get interested in card magic when I was 10 and a half, 11 years old. I'm 97 now. And I was deeply into card magic all those decades. So I know a little bit about card magic. And I'm going to tell you again, I don't know of any book. I don't care. People are going to say, what an ego. I don't care. There's no book that I know of that has such great stuff all in one book as there is in Essential Harry Lorayne.
Yes, I
And
believe.
I've done research, and I don't like to be called a liar. So when I make a statement like that, I mean it. Otherwise, I wouldn't make that statement.
Oh, I believe you. Oh, Harry. Well, it's been, as always, it's wonderful to talk to you, and I'm excited for you and his book, and I hope that it sells out kind of like your other books. In fact, I would encourage people, if you're going to get it now, because I remember like when Jaw Droppers came out and it sold out and everybody's trying to get their hands on it. Well, get
Right.
it now so you don't have to worry about that. But Harry, thanks for taking time out of your day to talk with me. Thanks for allowing me to be a part of the project. That was really exciting. So thank you that I get to be.
Yeah, it's a nice picture of you and me at the back of the book.
I agree. We're some good looking guys.
Yeah.
All right, Harry Lorayne. I love you.
I love you. Thank you so much for this, allowing me to brag about my book.
I'm glad to. All right, my friend. Take care. Have a great day.
My pleasure. I love you.
Okay, bye. Love you. Bye-bye.